We're going to cover creating data files for importing into Wastedge today. So we need them in a TSV, which is a tab separated values report, but by all means you wouldn't put them into that format until you had your data ready to go. So normally you'd have your data hopefully in a spreadsheet, which you can either extract from your existing system, or if you didn't have any, hopefully you've got your data in spreadsheet form. Might look something similar to this. So you want customer name, address information, what types of bins they have, what routes they might be on, the cycles, and container types. So normally when I go about this, I have the data in the first sheet. I create 3 sheets after that. One of them for customers, one of them for services, and lastly for the schedule. That's only if you need to keep your run sheets in order. So on the customers page, I've got a blank sheet. If I go over to Wastedge and locate the setup import data import customers page, I can see the format that is required for the file. It's just a matter of highlighting those lines. You usually need to get the first 2 lines rather than scrolling all the way to the right. Doing Control-C or a right click and then copy. Going back to my Excel sheet, into the first cell, doing a Control-V or a paste. So I can delete the second line that gets created because that's just demo data. So you don't need to be an Excel whiz by any means. Next you'd find the setup service invoice import services page. Highlight those lines as well. Control-C for copy, go into the services folder and pasting. So we'll focus on the customers page for now. If I go back to the customers page, I can see on my data sheet that the very first column is account name. So that needs to be in our second column. So formulas are easier than you'd think. You just need to hit the equals key, go back to the first sheet, and then highlight cell A2 and click enter. So based on how many lines I have in my sheet, if I go back to the bottom, I've got 66 customers here. I can then copy this line down 66 lines. Next comes probably the address. So if we just go to the address field, click on the equals key again, come back to the data page, I can see that address is in cell B2. Click on the enter key. Now instead of having to drag this down, all I have to do is click on the bottom right hand corner of that cell, the little dot there, and that's going to copy all of my addresses down the page like so. You do that for the rest of the fields. So only when you're happy with the file then, I've got it in XLS format at the moment, you always keep saving. When we're ready to import, we can do a file save as, and we want to pick save as type text tab delimited. So that's going to create our TSV file, which is essentially a TXT or a text file separated by tabs. So I'll name that customers. If I have to do several versions of it, it's always good to have a version number in there, V1, V2, etc. And then save. Now, Excel's going to warn me that I've got multiple sheets from my XLS and then I'm going back to a single sheet style. So it's just warning me, I just have to say OK. The second warning is that you might lose some features. All it's going to do there is remove your formulas and leave the data behind, which is what you want. So say yes to that. So then you'd follow our next how-to videos on how to import customers. You would get validation errors if you were missing addresses or suburbs. And it's just a matter of fixing them up in the file. So Wastedge won't let you fully import a file until you've got it 100% correct. Next you go into the services and then the schedule if you needed it. Populating container types, waste types, quantities, route cycles, etc. But you'd always have to go back to your main XLS file after you'd saved it as a TSV, which allows you to have the multiple folders there. So that's a bit of information on how to create an import file for Wastedge.